If you've been trying to change careers but have hit a standstill, then I've got a survival guide for you to follow so that you can get unstuck, change your careers, and finally feel happy at work again. Stay tuned. Hi, I'm Sarah, and I am the career coach that helps unhappy professionals find their dream jobs where they work less, make more money, and are finally fulfilled and happy doing work that they love. This is with career changes, job searches, promotions, or career development, career advancement, any old thing. But today we are talking career changes. I talk about a lot of different topics on this YouTube channel. So hit subscribe so that you don't miss a single one, because you never know when the right exact one is for you. And actually, tell me where you're watching from. Want to find out more about you, and let me know what career it is you're in. If you have made a decision, what career you're hoping to go into. If you haven't, how you've been stuck. And also, if you have any specific YouTube training ideas that you want me to cover, let me know so I can help you. Okay. So this summer, my husband and I did an anniversary trip to Washington State, to the Mount Baker region. Oh my gosh, it was so incredible. It was pretty snowy still, and we were doing some pretty hectic hikes. And during the hikes, there were times when it was just so effortless and amazing. And it was so much fun. And I was on top of the world, taking in like all of the incredible, beautiful scenery, like out of this world, enjoying my time at Justin and feeling like nothing was going to stop me. And then, that would change, because maybe we would approach this with a really steep hill and like switchbacks and technical terrain, where we'd have to climb up or even climb down, or most likely where most of my stuff came from was very sketchy snowfields that we had to cross, that were like pretty if we slipped. We didn't cross anywhere if we slipped we would die, but we did cross somewhere if we slipped we would get hurt. But no matter what happened in our hikes, we would go for really long hikes. There would be the good times and there would be the hard times, when it was harder to take one step after another. But that's life, isn't it? Like, the life is a roller coaster. A roller coaster. It is a series of highs and lows. So why wouldn't a hike, or more applicable, why wouldn't a career change be any different? Would be the same. And I know that's not something that we want to hear, and that I do sometimes hear that the career change is easy, and it is like you just sell your transferable skills, and of course it's going to happen for you, and it will happen for you, but it doesn't always just work like that. It does take some hard work. Sometimes it takes a lot of hard work, which means that we do need to be persistent and resilient in our attempt at a career change, not attempt, what's the word? Like in our, oh my gosh, it's literally not coming to me. But in our desire for a career change, because you're going to face some rejection, more rejection than you normally face in a job search, which is a lot of rejection. And it isn't like a hike where you are descending a steep hill only to fall, or even a normal job search when everything is going wrong. But when that is happening, when you're in a hike and you have to get somewhere, you have to keep going, or in your job search, when you need a new job, you can't give up. That's not an option. You have to pick yourself up. You have to dust yourself off and keep at it. But the thing about the career change, it's different. Chances are you are in a job right now, or you are looking and you've decided to take this time to find a career change, but there's always the option of going back to what you were doing before, and you may hate it. but it is a job. It is a career nonetheless. So quitting is an option, which is why it's common to give up. And I know because I gave up. I am coming up on how many years since I got laid off? 14 years since I got laid off from my first job. And when I left that job, I said I was going to go into employment advising. And I didn't. I gave up because I was too afraid and it was too easy just to find another recruitment job, even during a recession. That's the thing, even during a recession. Because changing a career is hard. And when I did get my first job in career coaching, when I worked at one of the colleges, I did leave to go back to recruiting because that opportunity wasn't right for me. It wasn't the type of career coaching that I wanted. So instead of figuring out what I did want and what could work, I gave up. And it took me 4 more years before I finally said enough is enough. Before I realized how to make this career dream of career coaching work for me. Before I committed and went all in on all the highs and all in on all the lows. What was different was that I prepared myself for the lows. And like, I can't believe I didn't do it before because I prepare myself for the lows. Like, that's just my life. Ask my husband. I'm always preparing us for all the lows that could happen. I faced my fear of failure. I faced that whole belief of this is impossible. I had a survival guide to help me through it. And in my survival guide, I focused on some key areas that I knew I had to think about because they tripped me up in the past. And if they tripped me up in the past, they're more than likely going to try and trip me up in the future. So I had to focus on it. So today I want to share this guide with you so that you are equipped to survive the lows of this career change journey so that you won't give up on your dreams. So survival tip number 1 is clarity, gaining clarity. So one of the things that held me back before was that I wasn't positive what I wanted. So career coaching had always been an interest, but was it the one? I had perfectionism issues of didn't seem perfect. So, that was a problem. But at one point during my career change, I had a list of 20 different options that all sounded interesting. And so it was hard to commit to a career change when I wasn't too sure what that career change was exactly. And we see this with people all the time. We see like this cycle of career change thoughts of, I hate my job. I think I need to change careers. Oh, but I don't want to go back to school. So I guess I'm going to just continue staying at this job. But once I went through, for me, some self-discovery, I really allowed me to gain the clarity that I needed. So if this is you, I want you to watch this 3 steps to picking a new career. These are the exact 3 steps that I used on myself that I have continued to use with all of my clients and my hiccups, so that you can finally gain clarity and allow you to commit to your 1, maybe 2 career options so that we can get going. Okay, survival tip number 2 is finding your motivation. You need a hard why. You need a reason why you're doing all this. Because I knew for me that there were going to be times when my motivation is a feeling. Feelings are fleeting. They're not always there. So we need to have something to keep us committed when we are struggling to show up. So for me, it's referring back to goals, why I was doing this. You may create a vision board in Pinterest or something else, and you may have a plan. So right now I have a new massive goal. If you didn't know, I'm writing a book, a romance novel. Nonetheless, there's a little bit of career stuff in it, but I just love. And I have had this idea. I actually have 4 book ideas. It's like a whole series that take place in a small town. I'm in love with everything about this place. But anyway, I'm not always motivated to write. I'm not always feeling good enough to do it. But I have to remind myself there's a reason why I'm doing this. And part of it is love stories were what helped me think differently about my career. They really inspired me to think differently about my career. And I want to reach people in different ways. I want to do the same in so many different ways. And I don't know, for some reason, I think a love story, because it helped me, might help other people. But I don't always want to do it. So I had to find my motivation and my determination to be committed to this goal. I have a strong, hard why and why this is important. And same with career coaching, which is that stat that 80% of people hate or tolerate their jobs. I get butterflies when I think about it. My heart sinks because our careers are so much of our lives, and I just can't fathom spending so much of our lives doing something that we don't even like, that we sometimes hate. Like it is enough to make me, when I don't feel like doing the work, to do the work. So find the why for you. And it could be that. But there are going to be days when you need a break, and you also need to cut yourself a little bit of slack. You don't need to be perfect. Your motivation doesn't have to be perfect for you to still be committed. Okay. Survival tip number 3 is build support. Now, I tend to be a lone wolf. I'm an introvert. I am highly capable. That's the message I was given as a child of parents who owned their own business. So meaning I had to take care of a lot of things for myself and for my sister. And I really have the tendency, I love to do things by myself and say, voila, and present it to the world. I don't tend to invite people in while I'm trying to accomplish something. It's something I've worked really hard on in the last 5 years. That's why I'm inviting people in on the process of writing this book. Like as soon as I started writing it, I've been inviting people in because I'm trying to break the tendency of being that lone wolf. So that is a problem that I have. You may have that problem too, but even if you don't, we struggle to ask for help. We struggle to even tell people we want to do something because we're afraid of so much that can happen. So it can be small, just letting people in your life in on the idea that you want to change careers, slowly telling them. And this helps you with accountability. It helps, like saying it, writing it down, makes it real. It kind of puts it on the line a little bit because people are going to follow up, and it helps with that motivation. Sometimes we need that fear, the fear of saying, oh, I haven't done anything about it, to help us keep motivated. But I've also built a support system around me with other peers that I stay in touch with a business coach and other career coaches who have mentored me along the way so that I can learn all the ins and outs of starting the business. So I think sometimes having someone who can support you, and that could be me as a career coach, could be me just by watching these videos and commenting and asking me questions, could be joining the career networking group, my Facebook group, the links below. It could be following me on Instagram and engaging with me there. It could be joining the Find Your Dream Job program to get my one-on-one help by me teaching you my process, by getting that one-on-one in a group coaching call support every week. So it could be something like that, even my one-on-one private coaching with me. So build your support so that you can do it. Survival tip number 4 is prepare for fear. You're going to be afraid. Like I've talked about this before. Fear is inevitable. I now know that. Actually, it was in Big Magic, which is a book by Elizabeth Gilbert, where she talks about fear and how fear is never going to go away. It took me a long time to realize. I kept thinking I had to wait for fear to go away. It never goes away. Because fear is an integral feeling. We need to feel it. It needs to exist. But she has this analogy of it being in the car, and it will never leave the car, but you can either let it drive the car or you can let yourself drive the car. So I had to choose to let myself drive the car. And I had to actually realize that I'm a generally fearful person. Like, not everyone knows this about me, but I am pretty terrified of most everything. I really did not want my kids to get this. And unfortunately, they have both gotten it to different degrees. But I'm a pretty scaredy cat person. And I have lived my life scared for a long time. So I just realized I needed to do it scared with these feelings of failure, or feeling the fear of failure. Like, I have failed so much over the last 5 years, and I've grown so much more confident because of it. It's crazy. But I had to deal with that. I was just going to feel afraid, and that was going to be okay, because fear can be in the back seat. I'm going to listen to it sometimes, but otherwise, I'm driving the car. I'm still going to do things. Survival tip number 5 is carving out the time, because time is definitely is a factor, was a factor. Now, I think figuring out how you're going to do it, when you're going to do it, coming up with a sort of a time management loose plan, like how many hours in a week, what in this upcoming week, how many hours can I devote? It's never going to be the exact same, and that's okay. Having some goals so that you can move forward. So right now I have that with my writing, because my writing it's not my business. It's not part of my family life. So every week I have to think about what I'm going to do. And I'm in editing mode right now. So before, it was so much easier in a way, because I was like, I want to write 5,000 words a week. I didn't care when, I just wanted to write 5,000 words. Some weeks I wrote 3,000, some weeks I wrote 7,000. On average, I wrote 5,000 a week during that first draft. So that worked. Now I don't have that as much. So I have to find different ways to help me stay motivated to stick to the time, because you can make the time and then you got to stick to the time. And having that hard why, like I talked about, will definitely help, but carving out even little instances of time. So I am going to wrap this up, because this was a long one, but I hope this career change survival guide will help guide you through all of the pitfalls that have happened, that can happen, so that you can finally change your careers, so that you can be happy and fulfilled doing work you love. If you need my help, join me in the Find Your Dream Job program, or let me know below. Okay, take care. See you next week. Bye.